Mr. President, a health-related question on your healthcare plan. You've said you want to make direct payments to Americans, but these Obamacare subsidies are expiring now in a matter of just a few days. More than 20 million Americans are now bracing for their premiums to skyrocket. Are you going to let this happen, or will you intervene?
Yeah, they will skyrocket, because it was never any good. I'd like to see the money that is going to the insurance companies by the hundreds of billions of dollars. You know, their stocks are up 1,400%, 1,800%, and 1,624%. Their stocks are up through the roof over a fairly short period of time because they're getting vast amounts of money. I want that money to go to the people directly and let the people buy their own healthcare, and they'll get much better healthcare than they get with the Unaffordable Care Act, as it's known by a lot of people. That is virtually unaffordable for people. It's a bad thing. We can have a great thing. Let the money go directly to the people and let them buy their own healthcare. But this is an urgent problem.
But do you want Congress to extend these ACA subsidies?
Well, I'd like not to be able to do it. I'd like to get right into this, and I'd ask Oz this question in particular, but I'd like to see us get right into this. I don't know why we have to extend. This could be done rapidly if the Democrats would come along. We have a problem. The insurance companies own the Democrat Party. They own it. And the Democrats having a hard time. They give a lot of money to the Democrats. Very little money to Republicans, by the way. A lot of money to Democrats. And they're going to have to decide, do they want to do the right thing, or do they want to be beholden to the, insurance companies? They're making a fortune. I want the money to go to the people.
Mr. President, can I ask you clarify something for me on the Federal Reserve? How many people are you interviewing for the Fed chairman? And what did you think of Chris Waller?
I think he's great. I mean, he's been a man who's been there a long time. Somebody that I was very involved with in sense of his career. And he's a fantastic man. I met him yesterday again.
So, how many people are you looking at?
We're talking to 3 or 4. I think every one of them would be a good choice, honestly. We'll be making a decision pretty quick.
Mr. President, some GOP lawmakers have written to you in recent days saying they're concerned this executive order could normalize drug use for youth. How would you respond to them?
You think about this particular today. Well, I think I'd let one of the doctors respond to it, because they can do it a lot better than me. But I can only tell you that when you see polls of 82% of the people want this, when I have friends that are really, really sick, and they've gone through, I guess you could say, fortunately, I don't want to become too involved in it because I don't want it happening. But these are people that really know what's going out. It's very smart people. This is one of the most successful people in the country and a very brilliant guy. And, when they go through this horrible ordeal of cancer or other things, and they realize that this is something that makes them feel better without all of the side effects of some of the drugs, where you're just totally knocked out and out of it. So it's also a big part of this is research. In other words, you'll now have a much larger sample, and you'll be able to see if it's as good as many people say it is. I mean, people say it is beyond good, and you'll be able to find that out.
Now, on housing, you talked in your address last night about housing. Are you still considering a national emergency over housing?
I'm looking at it. What would that look like? What would that mobilize? There's two thoughts on housing. You have a lot of people have housing that because we have such a strong time and such a strong market, their houses are very valuable. It's a big part of their net worth, their house. I don't want to knock those numbers down because I want them to continue to have a big value for the house. At the same time, I want to make it possible for young people out there and other people to buy housing. In a way, they're at conflict. In other words, you create a lot of housing all of a sudden, and it drives the housing prices down. So, I want to take care of the people that have houses that have a value to, to their house that they never thought possible, that have sort of made them wealthy and happy and, especially in their later years. Got to be careful with that. I want to keep them up. At the same time, I want to make it, possible for people to go buy houses. Mr. President, you announced the Warriors' Dividend last night in your primetime speech. Very patriotic, very generous. What was the rationale and the thought process? How'd you come up with the idea? What made you want to give back to, 1776 was easy to come up with, because we're actually at 1775. The number was 1775. And I said, wow, I think we could afford one more dollar, but they came up to me. It was, $1,775. So I said, well, let's add $1 to it. I think we can find that. And, very simple. We've had a military that, in my opinion, by other presidents, was not treated well. They're incredible. They're our finest people. They're protecting us. And because of tariffs, we're taking in billions and billions of dollars more than we ever have before, with no inflation. By the way, with no inflation. You saw the inflation numbers. They just came out today. What great timing. Practically no inflation. And yet we're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. And this is small potatoes by comparison. But it's a way of taking care of our warriors, our soldiers. And I appreciate that question, Daniel. Yeah.
Caroline, she just posted on X, your press secretary, that the board members of the Kennedy Center voted unanimously to rename it the Trump Kennedy Center. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I was honored by it. Its board is a very distinguished board. Most distinguished people in the country, and I was surprised by it. I was honored by it. We're saving the building. We saved the building. The building was in such bad shape, both physically, financially, and every other way. And now it's very solid, very strong. We have, something going on television, I guess, on the 23rd December. I think it's going to get very big ratings, and the Kennedy Center is really back strongly. It's in very bad shape, very, very bad shape, physically. And, we're also to get Congress to put up a lot of money, and other people to put up a lot of money. We had a lot of donors come in for record-setting numbers. So we saved the Kennedy Center. And this was brought up by one of the very distinguished board members, and they voted on it. And there's a lot of board members, and they voted unanimously. So I was very honored by...
Mr. President, would you be seeking any authorization from Congress for any land attacks on cartels in Venezuela?
I wouldn't mind telling them, but, it's not a big deal. I don't have to tell them, has been proven. But, I wouldn't mind at all. I just hope they wouldn't leak it. People leak it. They are politicians and they leak like a sieve. But, I'd have no problem doing that.
Mr. President, there's a meeting this weekend on Ukraine in Florida. What are you hoping will come out of that meeting?
Well, they're getting close to something, but I hope Ukraine moves quickly. I hope Ukraine moves quickly because Russia's there, and, every time they take too much time, then Russia changes their mind. 27,000 soldiers were killed last month. Think of that. What do you think of that, doctors? 27,000. It's like half a football stadium were killed in 1 month. And it's that way. It's anywhere between 20 and 30,000, mostly soldiers. Also some people from Kiev and other places, but largely it's the soldiers. They're losing their lives. Nobody's ever said anything like, it's the worst since World War II. And you've heard me say I settled 8 wars. Some going on for 35 years, one going on for 37, one going on for 32, and 8 wars. And I thought this would be an easier one. This is because of the animosity, the hatred. It's a little bit more difficult than we thought, but there's a chance we can get this done, maybe soon. Remember that 25 to 30,000 people being killed a month. Young people being killed a month. Steve, please.
When do you expect to make your announcement about the new fetch here, sir? Before the end of the year? Well, it's not going to be that much different from what I did last night. I mean, we've had tremendous success. We're bringing prices down. We inherited a mess. And part of what we inherited was the worst inflation in 48 years. I say history, but we had the worst inflation. It drove prices up, and now we're bringing those prices down. But I'll be talking about that. I'll be talking about the fact that we secured the border where literally nobody can come into our country illegally anymore. They came in from prisons and mental institutions and drug dealers and, a lot of bad people from all over the world. Venezuela emptied their prisons into our country. We had Trendwa, which supposedly the doctors don't know this. It's the meanest gang of them all. Okay, doctor, you don't have to know about it. They got other problems. But they let a lot of bad people in here, and so I think I'll be talking about that. I think I'll be talking about the tremendous success we have by sending the National Guard into various cities. DC is the ultimate example. People walk to work and they thank me all the time. People in the White House, they just walked to the White House from 10 blocks away. Before I came into office, they couldn't do that. They were getting badly hurt in many cases and beyond hurt killed. So we were losing people. We were losing on average a person a week. Can you believe it? More. And now we haven't lost anybody in a long time. I consider the two people that got so badly hurt the National Guard. That's a different city. That was terrorism. That was terrorism. And probably terrorism. Maybe terrorism because they were unhappy with the tremendous success we've had because they don't want to see this country be successful. But Washington, D.C. now is a safe, beautiful city where the restaurants are booming, the town is booming, people walk to the restaurants with their wife or their children and have a good time. We were losing all the restaurants. We were losing our life in this. We were just the whole heritage of Washington, D.C. was down the drain. And we brought it back, and now everybody's thrilled to be here. It's the hottest. It's a part of the hottest country anywhere in the world. We become in 10 months the hottest country anywhere in the world. And I say it all the time, we were dead country 1.5 years ago. Did you expect to be Prime Minister Netanyahu while you're down in...
Yeah, he would like to see me. We haven't set it up formally, but he'd like to see me. We've had great success. Peace in the Middle East. Aside from everything else, we now have peace in the Middle East. Yeah, he'll probably come to see me in Florida. Egyptians as well. I'd love to have him. Elsis, he's a friend of mine. Yeah, I'd love to have him. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, press. Let's go. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. I think I'll be talking about the tremendous success we have by sending the National Guard into various cities. DC is the ultimate example. People walk to work, and they thank me all the time. People in the White House, they just walk to the White House from 10 blocks away. Before I came into office, they couldn't do that. They were getting badly hurt in many cases, and beyond hurt, killed. So we were losing people. We were losing, on average, a person a week. Can you believe it? More. And now we haven't lost anybody in a long time. I consider the two people that got so badly hurt the National Guard. That's a different city. That was terrorism. That was terrorism. And probably terrorism. Maybe terrorism. Because they were unhappy with the tremendous success we've had. Because they don't want to see this country be successful.